This particular episode of Top Gear ended up being the most fun I've ever had because of things like this. And stuff like this. And also I finally got to do this. So this one's going to be really fun because not only did I get to do some FPV drifting, but I also get to chase the guys around this junkyard course, which was just maybe the most fun ever. There's tons of wind, there's tons of crazy obstacles to crash into, lots of danger, lots of high adventure on this one for a drone operator. And as you'll see in both of these situations, because we need as much coverage as possible, I launched the Inspire 2 and I get those gimbal shots, and then I launch the FPV, and I basically get both of those going at the same time. So I end up getting, well, tell you what, just watch and you'll see. So yeah, here's the slating of the Inspire 2. Getting ready to go. The producers and director who are seeing everything on screens and also communicating with the guys. So that's a good spot for me because I could hear what was going on, get oriented on the course. So this shot gets used. This is lining up on the start line, and then they're gonna go here in a minute, and I'll blast forward to where they go because it probably took a minute or two here. All right, here we go. The guys are going to start moving, and now I'm just basically trying to get some good coverage of whatever they're doing here. So I'm going to kind of sweep around. I had to be pretty high up to kind of get a good view on everything, which leaves you kind of looking down. In this kind of shot, you really don't need horizon, right? A lot of the time when you're shooting down on stuff, you do want some horizon, but this was really more about just getting the action with a little bit of perspective on the track. And a lot of the time I will smooth out my yaw to get the smoothest possible move, but on a show like Top Gear, they really kind of like those whipping around sort of shots. You'll notice in episodes that a lot of the time, the kind of jerky motion is what the editors gravitate towards. Here's some good action. Dax catching up, actually Jethro is catching up. Dax is in the lead. And so yeah, I just basically covered this for a bit, and what I was really trying to do was cover, get enough of these good shots in the bag with the Inspire so that I could launch the FPV, because believe me, I was chomping at the bit to shoot FPV on this race. So now I'm pulling back to what looks like a good lock-off shot, because this is what I'll do a lot of the time. I'll lock off as much as possible, hope that the Inspire will basically hold this shot framed up. So that's my shot right now, and I'm scrambling for the FPV, which I would have already prepped and gotten ready. It's got to be somewhere where I can get signal. Yeah, and this is going to be the BangGod. Of course, that's always my fast chaser. Put that audio down for you. But yeah, then from there on out, now I'm just chasing these guys around the track. And as is typical with these kinds of chases, the speed is highly variable. So you're constantly trying to kind of slow down but keep the shot framed, and then, you know, whip around, get back into the right position, catch back up, don't overshoot, don't bonk into these cars off to the side. Coming around this corner was always interesting. So I'm trying to catch that action and keep them framed, but again, you can't get right down on the level because of all the things around the edge of the track. So yeah, just trying to frame up a cool shot each time. chasing them around. There's Rob down on the left. I'm trying to keep an eye on what everybody's doing. I'm listening to the director as well, talking about who's doing what. And they do not see a feed from me from the FPV. At least they didn't then. Now I do that a lot, but at that point I was not. So just kind of going for it and getting what I can, and they don't know what I'm getting. They'd have been pretty excited if they had seen all this as it was happening. Of course, you know, we have static camera positions all over the place. There's the Inspire shot. You can, well, you can't quite see on here that where the drone is because it's just small enough. It's the BangGod. Doing some more chasing. Going back for Dax. We'll head on. That shot got used. So here's when that Dax and Rob thing is developing. I'm seeing him. This looks like something cool is going to happen, so I'm getting right in there. And sure enough, boom. Rob gets bonked. That's what you just saw in the episode cut. And I'm hanging out, getting the shot, trying not to kick up too much dust. And he's off. Going back in, chasing some more. It's a pretty good long run too. See that camera guy on the left? Really ripping around. Now that was Dax. He seems to have whipped around. I'm kind of looking around now, like where is everybody? Look around, look around. There's some funny business going on for sure. Ah, there goes somebody. I try to do a nice dive in on this. Looks like I'm overshooting. Yep. Yeah, pretty hard to gauge those speeds. Some real good battery life on this. Definitely, I'm using either a 1550, I always use the Tattoo batteries on this, 6S, either a 1550 or an 1800. I'm not sure what I had going on right here. Just so much fun. I was having the time of my life here. And whoosh, whip up over that edge. I was trying to get that shot. It was a pretty hard one to get. And then the slalom run down here. It's very cool. Fun to follow him through. I think this may be coming up to the big T-bone move. So I do a little bit of a reset here over to catch in front of them. If you look closely, you'll see that camera guy. That's Marty. And yeah, I was having to keep an eye on him out in the middle there as I whipped across. Rob getting knocked out again. The boys are still going. This is a long FPV run. Love these shots through the dust. I was running at 120 frames as well. So you could get a real nice slowdown if you wanted, but you really kind of don't end up ever wanting to because you want it to go fast, fast, fast. So I guess at that point I gave up because I was probably running out of battery. There's my position. You see the director is looking into the back of that van.
What happened? I'm bringing that in and doing some Inspire work. Yeah. That was a lot of good FPV.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
I also wanted to show you this because this is when we first arrived at the junkyard, and I just took the BangGod out and ripped around for a while, and it ends up getting used a lot in the episode, particularly for arrival, introducing the location, all that. Like, you know, normally you'd get kind of big wide establishers, but for this shot it was so dynamic and cool. So yeah, this place is just extremely cool. So I took a couple of battery packs just to rip around here and have a good time. Some of this too, like just these kind of big overheads, instead of using, I did do some Inspire gimbaled establishers, but they really tended to use these more. Pretty cool way to establish a location like this. So yeah, next I'm going to show you some drifting stuff that I got to do that was pretty fun on the very last day of shooting. So let's check that out. Here we are at Willow Springs on a very, very windy day, and the wind was not terrible yet at this point. It was breezy, but it wasn't too crazy. And this is another one of those times where I'm going to cover the scene with both the Inspire 2, which you're looking at now, and also an FPV. And for this one, I ended up using the Geyser. So yeah, the Inspire here, Inspire 2, is set up. The shot is framed. I'm now probably in the process of getting the Geyser ready to launch. And we had discussed how to shoot this. Basically, Dax is gonna drift around this car in another drift car, and then he's gonna get out and start talking to the camera. So I sold him on the idea that FPV was the best way to go. There's the Geyser coming out. You see it circling around. And then at this point, it's always, all right, I'm ready to go. Got both drones up. You can see all the, when I circle around that direction, there's all the crew in the background. Yeah, there's the crew. So I'm always trying to frame out crew with these shots as much as possible. But really just waiting for him to get started now. And you know, when you fly an FPV, you don't have a hand free either. So they may have been calling to me, and I'm trying to let them know I'm ready to go. Okay, here he goes. Now, took me a second to kind of settle into the rhythm of what he's doing here, but I definitely got some shots I'm happy with, and you'll see at the end here, he's going to step out and stop talking, so I really got to bug off quick. I'm trying to get the shot of him actually stepping out, but then I got to go quick away. Now let's check out the Inspire view of that. It was pretty funny watching the drone chase it around. Yeah, so here we go. You see the Geyser cruising around there behind the drift car. And of course I'm trying to frame it so that the white, so the BMW is in the frame the whole time and the drift car is in the frame. And then we come around, trying to get him stepping out of the car, but they call me off because of the audio right away. And now a little bit of this Inspire footage definitely tends to get used in these moments for non-sync wides. So I've jumped over as quick as possible, dumped the FPV on the ground, and I'm grabbing the controls on the Inspire and trying to frame this up to a usable shot. Then I'll probably make a little bit of a move, and this shot ends up getting used. So I've successfully doubled up on my tools. I got the FPV and the Inspire in one run. And yeah, if you watch this episode, you see a lot of that getting used right there. And yeah, these are those are always usable until I get those camera guys in the shot. But yeah, I want to show you one more little drift bit that is pretty awesome too, so check this out. I'm going to show you a good bit of this run, even though a lot of it doesn't have exciting action in it, but I just want to kind of show you what one of these full runs is like. These two cars were ripping around. This did not get used in the episode. They just pretty much cut this whole sequence, but it was both of the drift cars at the same time. The winds at this point had picked up to about 40 miles an hour steady coming down off that mountain. So coming down towards the camera right now. I'm just getting blown back. I'm having to lean forward into the wind. So probably realistically 30 steady, gusting to 50. You can see how the smoke is blowing off of the cars. And so I had to figure out, now going up the hill, I'm leaning heavily into the wind. Going back, I'm being blown with the wind. So it was nearly impossible to slow down enough for these cars, and then getting whipped out and around, and really I was full throttle right there just to hold around those corners and then get those shots. But the light and the wind and everything else just made it look so cool. It was really a fun thing to get to shoot. Again, getting pushed around so much, I miscalculated that corner because you know, you're generally kind of trying to fling it out, but the wind just immediately was kicking me back. So there's my position. Now I'm gonna come in. Normally I would just come in and land on the van, but I was having to basically bring the drones in on the downwind side of the van. And the Inspire at one point when I was shooting with it, probably around this time, or you know, just before or after this, actually I almost lost the Inspire. It was so windy that I couldn't get it back. It was getting blown away. I had to put it in full sport mode and get low to the ground and kind of track the ground just to get the thing back. But it looks like I'm talking on my radio here, so I'm probably like grabbing a hand free and chatting with somebody to find out what's next, which is why I'm sort of flopping around in the wind here. But you can see this too. As soon as I turn, watch how the drone, see how I'm leaning against the wind. It's kind of coming left to right at this point. But watch when I sort of level out how the drone starts moving. Boom, I'm just getting blown over there. I'm still leaning into the wind, but I'm just getting blown across. That's how fast the wind was. Now as I turn, look how far away I am already from where my position was. So I'm going to set up here and just try to get another one of those shots as they come through. Always into the sun with shots like this. That's going to be your money shot, right? That smoke kicking up off their tires. So I'm trying to gauge. There they are. I want to get as close to them as possible. And trying not to have to lean forward too much and screw up my framing because that sun looks so good. But yeah, you can see how I'm getting blown. So hard to calculate that. And then whipping around this too. But that came out pretty good. And this is, well, no, actually, he stopped because he spun out. So I overshot. But this was all 120 frame as well. I'll pick a good one and show you the kind of slow-mo on it. But let's check out one more run. I really like this one. So you could just see him off in the distance there. What I'm trying to do is time this so that I get over there just at the right time. Right? So I'm coming across, and meet him in the corner. Boom. And that one came out looking really cool. Here it is again with a bit of slow-mo. Yeah, I love the way that smoke looks. You can see how fast the wind is blowing too. It's just peeling the smoke down the hill. Then following him up around the top of the hill. I think I got a little bit better line there. Yeah, that was good too. Look at all that smoke. And taking off. So Again, you know, for this kind of shooting, I'm not necessarily trying to stick right on his tail. I'm just trying to get good shots. I know there's a camera position up at the top there. So that guy would have been catching a good ground-based shot of him. So I was really just trying to get a good shot on that corner and then let him fly away. There's me again. So much fun. This is Willow Springs, the top track. And just getting to go out there and set up, pick your position, you know, find the best spot for yourself, get the shots. You know, yeah, we'd go out and scope out the track, and they give you a lot of leeway. You know, once they start trusting you to know what you're doing, you just go out and pick the best shot, figure out where other people are getting their shots too. And I'm always trying to not land right in other people's shots or fly right through other people's shots as much as possible. But here I've landed for a bit, and I think I'm going to go again. Yes, in fact, it looks like I just left the GoPro running. Now I'm grabbing it out of the van, popping it down, getting ready to launch. Here we go. And hopefully lining up one more cool shot. Oh yeah, this one was fun. That one plays well in slow-mo. Check it out. Shebang. Yeah, that smoke just looks so good in that light. Of course, once they color correct it too, you know, this isn't graded. This is just straight up. I always shoot flat. Getting them coming down the hill again one last time. And yeah, the key is framing here, right? With that heavy wind and everything, I'm just trying to get a good shot that's framed well. And get back to my van successfully. It's another good thing too. Of course, most people already know this, but certainly when you're out in windy conditions like that, line yourself up a final approach, downwind, come in with the wind. I kind of missed it because the wind was kicking up over the van. So go back, do it again. Just coming in towards myself. Generally, I'm trying to not land on the rocky ground like that because you nick a prop and then you have to swap it out. But I just couldn't. See, it's blowing my hat off. I couldn't get a good landing on top of the van at that point because of the wind. One last little bit of fun here. In the episode, you'll see we exploded a car. This is one of the GoPros, not one of mine, luckily. One of the specialty cam guys' GoPro, and the footage survived.
And explosion just happened in action.
Oh! Oh! Oh my goodness, guys, we did.
Hopefully that's as much fun for you as it is for me. Can't even tell you how much fun it is to work on that show. I sure hope it comes back for a season 3. Come on, baby. It's really the best drone gig ever. Yeah, and hopefully that gives you an idea what it's like to work on a show like that. I'll try to follow up with some more videos real soon. And I have another show coming out next week, actually on NBC and USA, called Snake in the Grass. That was a completely different kind of show. We shot down in Costa Rica, and I'll be doing some behind the scenes for that as well. So be on the lookout for that, and I hope to see you soon. Be sure and like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think and what else you'd like to see. Take care.